Have y'all ever felt a knot in your stomach when you were anxious or had a pounding headache when you were upset? That's your body speaking. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the In Between Room. Have y'all missed me or not? I know I've been MIA, but y'all, life has been lifing, work has been working, everything has just been going on. But my 3 day Labor Day weekend helped me get a little back into myself. I got through the work week, caught up on some stuff, and this weekend I have rested a little more. So I'm back. I'm back. I'm good now. I'm good. But in today's episode, I want to focus on the body remembering everything because this is where I have been the past couple of days to weeks. And the body remembers stress, anger, love, excitement. Literally, when I say everything, I mean everything. It shows up and it can linger in the moment. It can linger into the next day, weeks, months. And this can be things we speak aloud or things we hold on to and never speak out loud. So, why does the body remember? Y'all, I'm not a scientist, I'm not a doctor. This is from personal, lived, and witnessed experience. I will say I did go to college, so I do know a little something, something about stuff. For what I remember, our nervous system store experiences and thoughts, and it holds on to them even when current state of mind may not can remember it as quickly. So even if we don't consistently speak or think on a moment or a thought, it's stored. And I know everyone is usually familiar with fight or flight, which are responses to active stressors in our lives. So if you're not familiar with them, fight is usually when your body prepares to confront a potential threat. So, for example, say someone is upset with you, and in the moment you're calm, but them projecting their anger onto you is making you realize, I don't like that. I'm about to get on them. So that is your body preparing to fight it before you even speak a word. Your mental thought is, let me get my words together. Or sometimes you might not even need to get your words together. You're just going back at them. That's fight. Flight is usually when your body prepares to flee the situation. So again, you're in a heated argument and the person is coming at you. You're realizing, I don't like it. I don't have time for it. I don't want to get involved in making this argument worse. I'ma leave. That's flight. And in therapy, I have also explored two more responses, and that is freeze or fawn. And I know a lot of people probably aren't familiar with that because I honestly wasn't familiar with it. I had heard it maybe once or twice before, but it wasn't something that stuck like fight or flight because fight or flight is something that you consistently hear about. Freeze and fawn, not so much. So with freeze, that is literally what it means. You're numb, you're detaching, you're unsure where to go. Your mind doesn't know which route to really take, so it freezes. It is stuck. Fawn is when you are more into the side of people pleasing. You're apologetic, you're trying to gain favor in the situation, but that can lead to feeling guilty or shameful afterwards because you are trying to cool the situation. You're not trying to run, you're not trying to fight it, you're not trying to just space out in the moment. You're trying to make the situation better. And of course, that comes with guilty feelings afterwards. So, personally, fight or flight, freeze or fawn shows up to me in my body through my heart rate increasing. I might breathe a little heavier. I'll feel tension in my body. Sometimes I'll even have mini panic attacks, especially after the situation is over. I panic from what happened. Sometimes I have a lot of regret. What could I have said, or what could I have done better, or what could I we all have the thought when you're upset in the moment, after the moment, you're like, "I coulda said this, or I coulda did that," you know? So, there's always this anxious feeling as well as to what could have been done differently or better. So, why does our body go into fight, flight, freeze, or fawn? Survival. How easy is it to think back on high moments of stress or anxiety, fear, loss? Easy. We don't usually want to think on these things, but it's what our bodies hold on to the most because they cause so much physical and mental altercations. I was introduced to this book recently, and it's called The Body Keeps Score, and it's by y'all, I'm probably about to butcher this name, but Dr. Bessel van der Kolk. I'll leave a link to find the book in the description, but I will say if you're not into psychiatric approaches to trauma, mind, body, lived experiences, this book is not for you. However, me, I love God, but I am also into the psychiatric component of life as well because I know a lot goes on in the mind. And it really is life and lived experiences that shape our mental health, that shape our brain, that shape our physical health. So I am all into the psychiatric approach of things. But the book basically goes into why our body holds on to things we don't usually want to hold on to and how these things affect our health, brain, happiness, trust, and self control. I think it's a great book. And I think that if you are into the brain and picking at it, especially if you're like me. In college, I was a psych major. I loved everything when it came to the brain, the why, the what, the things that made us think and do what we did. The mind. I am so intrigued by it. I love my psychology courses, the neurological sense of stuff when it came to psychology and science. I love that stuff, y'all. So if you're into that type of conversation, I 10 out of 10 would recommend this book. So, when I was reading the book and even afterwards, I thought on a lot of parts of my life that made me realize the body really does keep score. And I never thought about it that way until I read the book and I was introduced to the concept in therapy. I was recommended the book by a therapist. I think the biggest point in my life that resonated with me from this point was trust in relationships and projecting. Y'all, I am still to this day overcoming this. I am trying my best to overcome fight or flight when it comes to relationships, especially romantic. Friendships, I can honestly say I'm a little more open when it comes to friendships. It's hard for me to really gain new friends, but when it comes to romantic relationship, guard up, y'all. Guard up. And I'm trying my best to continually put it down, but it's hard coming from such toxic past and situationships that didn't always work out the way I hoped for. Keyword I hoped for. But a lot of times when something comes up or resembles something from past situations or relationships, I want to fight it or flee it. And I am dealing with it so heavily. But I have to always consistently remind myself that I'm human. And just because in the moment I may not react the way that I have been working on not to react in that way, or I may flee when really I am working on communication and communicating my feelings in the way I feel a lot better. Try to give myself a lot of grace because I'm still human, I'm still learning, I'm still growing. And I have learned that a lot of things we won't truly be able to heal them until we're put back into situations where we are confronted with those things. There are a lot of things within relationships I won't ever be able to heal on my own. There will take another person being in a relationship to heal those things because we can't confront them when we're not in a relationship. There are so many different topics, issues, points of interest that we don't hear, see, or speak about on a day-to-day basis because they only come with romantic relationships. So a lot of times I deal with anxious thoughts, anxious actions because of this. I beat myself up a lot in the moment when I do things that I'm trying to overcome or revert back to old ways. And I will say I do give myself a lot of grace because I have come a very long way. If only y'all knew my story, but I have come a very long way and I'm trying my best each and every day I am presented with something new to keep working, to keep moving forward because I want things that are in my life now, I hope and pray to last. So I am working through these things to this day. Also projecting. I have come a very long way with projecting as well. I don't do it as often as I used to. That was a point that I struggled with a lot. I used to take what I went through and put it to the next person based on other people's perspectives. As soon as someone told me this about a person or that about a person, I took it and I ran. Oh, you're just like so and so. Oh, this is just like this situation. I have learned that you have to get to know someone for yourself. Just because you hear this or that about a person does not mean that's how they'll be with you. I am a firm believer, and I know a lot of people call it a hopeless romantic. I am a firm believer that just because someone did another person wrong or they may have been in bad situations at a point doesn't mean that they'll do that to you. I believe it 100% that people can change. Does that mean that you should put yourself in a place to help change them? No, that's not your role. However, when a person truly wants to change for themselves and they're at a point where they realize that what they were doing in the past isn't sustaining them now, they'll make a change. And if you happen to be there at that point, you might just be the bearer of that good part of them. And also going back to getting to know a person for themselves. A lot of times people do bad things because of who they were kind of shaped to be in situations. So a lot of times a lot of pressure is put onto the person in a previous relationship, or there may be a lot of toxic patterns in the relationship, and there comes to a point where I do believe there is no going back in a relationship. There are times when you really should let go, and if you keep holding on, it'll only get worse and worse. And unfortunately, in this world, people know you and see you from your wrong, from the bad. People are always looking for something bad to say, something to put you down, especially when they may not have what you have or think they don't have what they think you have. So unfortunately, that's the world that we live in. So that's why I am big on getting to know someone because you never know what's behind the image, what's behind the views of the world, what people are saying. Until you get to know that person for yourself, you never know who you'll deal with or what they have in store for you, or the love they have, the insight they have, the things that they be able to teach you, show you, guide you, and help you with. You never know until you get to know someone for you. And honestly, getting to know that person and genuinely showing that you're trying to get to know them for them and not an image or what they could bring to you or what they have allows them to open up more, allows them to be able to show you a part of them that the world doesn't see, that the world doesn't get to experience because the world is so caught up on the negative, the bad. So take time to get to know someone, regardless of what people say, even if it may be honestly the same story with lots of people. You never know what someone deals with or goes through, or what people may have said or put on them that could honestly be a bunch of lies. So get to know a person for themselves. Another thing was, y'all, interviews and public speaking. Y'all, when I get into a room for an interview, it doesn't matter what type of interview it is. My mind blanks out. Me and interviews are a work in progress, and I know interviewing is not something you just do back to back to back, but I will say if you can try to find an organization or maybe take a public speaking class or some type of panel that you can get on, I say go for it. I am trying to expose myself to that this year. I want to get better at interviewing, public speaking, public interviewing, and being able to go, not based off of a script, not based off of pre-planned words or anything like that. And this podcast is helping with that as well. I do type out topics and segments and what I want to talk about, but a lot of this is off the dome. This is me just yapping for real, y'all. But I want to expose myself to crowds. And honestly, I can say, especially in college, I exposed myself to crowds, but not in a sober minded way. A lot of times I would be honestly intoxicated. I wouldn't be 100% me in crowds. So I am learning to be 100% me in crowds, panels, around a lot of people, learning to be myself, learning that I am enough, learning that whoever is meant for me will gravitate to me as being me. And if I need to mask myself around certain people, groups, or places, maybe, not even maybe, I shouldn't probably be in those places or around those people. So that is something that I am learning. And for the longest, I struggled with post interaction panic attacks when I would feel overwhelmed with crowds or feeling like I didn't do good enough or going back to thinking on what I could have done better in the moment or how people probably will perceive me from the interaction. I would get a lot of panic attacks, and so that's not good. That wasn't good for my mental, physical, and that goes into a lot of packing onto ongoing health problems. A lot of these things, they will put your physical body through some stuff. That's from headaches, like I said, the panic attacks, weakened immune system. If your body is consistently in this fight or flight headspace, your immune system can be overthrown and you'll find yourself getting sick a lot. That's with the common cold. You may not be someone who gets allergies or vitamin deficiencies. Your immune system will start to lower and you'll start getting these autoimmune diseases that you may have never heard of. Again, lived experiences. There are things that will come up or happen that you may have never pictured yourself going through. You can deal with insomnia, not being able to sleep, not getting sleep, and that's packing on to more stress because you waking up with only 2 hours of sleep in the night and then going to a high stress job. That's not helping. That's not helping at all. So that leads to more anxiety. You may feel depressed, and then you go through your work day. You come home, you're up, you're jittery, the next night, 1 or 2 hours of sleep. You're going through the week with 6 hours of sleep for the entire week, and that is not helping you at all. That is not getting your body time to reset, to prepare, to build up its defenses. So you're going through the week mentally, physically, emotionally drained week. So I will say that there's a place that I have been feeling burnt out lately mentally, and that is from y'all, everything, work, life, everything, y'all. And I can't point out to a specific part. It's just I have a high stress job. And then on top of that, life be life. Life is always life, and y'all. So all of that built together, like I said, it can lead to all these other ongoing health problems. I have found myself in a place of insomnia, y'all. I have not been sleeping how I know I need to be. Also, I haven't been eating how I know I need to be. I feel like, I go to the work day, I'm just like, I just wanna go home and be, so I'll get fast food a lot. I'm not cooking, I'm not resting, I'm not exercising how I was trying to at a point, so and my body is feeling it. I have acid reflux, and y'all, when I eat a lot of fast food or I'm not resting how I need to, my acid reflux will triple in its effects on me, so I've been dealing with a lot of heartburn, a lot of chest pains, and it's not good. It's not good at all. So, like I said, my 3-day Labor Day weekend plus this weekend reset has definitely helped me. I've eaten a lot better this past week. I have poured into myself a lot more. I have been outside walking and trying my best to connect more with myself and outside and take it in some fresh air, not the air of my room or my office all day. So, and a lot of that comes with, people watch us, and as much as we may not realize it, someone is always watching us, and when you're not taking care of yourself, people will realize it and they'll assume, they'll question, and that too can add on to the anxiety, depression, realizing that people see it. That can lead you more into a spiral, or it can motivate you to do better. But most of the time, like I said, personal experience, it kind of puts me more into of a spiral. So try to find some time to reset, to get your mind right, to take some time off, y'all. I know we live in hustle culture. Everything is about getting to the money, getting to a bag. We are, a 9 to 5 society, but we're working outside the 9 to 5. We're working before 9, after 5. Take some time for yourself, y'all. I know bills are high, life is high, life is expensive. But we still have to find time to reset, to rest, to pour into ourselves. And pouring into yourself is self care, eating right, exercising, making sure that your body is okay, that you're listening to the signs of your body. When something feels off, y'all, get it checked out. Rest, see what's going on, realize what's going on. Because if you're not taking care of yourself, you can't get to the money, you can't get to the bag, you can't care for your clients, you can't care for the people that are dependent on you. So take time for yourself. I personally have been trying my best to pour into myself a lot lately, and I'll share some of the things that I've been doing. So, y'all, I have stopped being the yes man. I have been the yes man for so long. That's with family, friends, coworkers, y'all. I would always say yes, yes, yes. It was bad. High school, college, it was bad. End of college, more into my early adulthood phase, y'all. I have stopped being the yes man, and I will say I have kind of dabbled into it more recently, y'all. But I am done being the yes man. No, no is going to be added into my vocabulary a lot more, y'all. And no comes with task at work. No, I can't do it. I have my own stuff to do. No, no, with my family. I love y'all and I would love to bond. I would love to go out to dinner this weekend. I would love to do this or that. But I can't right now, y'all. I have so much going on between work, between so many other things I'm working on with my life, y'all. I have got to learn how to say no, and I have been doing that. I have stopped being the yes man with my friends as well, y'all. I love my friends. I love my family. I respect my coworkers, but I'm learning to say no. Family, friends, I'm learning to say no to my friends. I can't go out this weekend. I can't meet you after work for dinner. I just can't. I need time for me because if I don't find time for me, tomorrow is gonna reap that. And I don't want tomorrow and my clients to reap that. Or plans I already had. I don't want those plans or those people to reap that because I said yes tonight and I didn't pour into myself this night. Also have been going on walks. I have been doing a lot of solo ventures lately. I also have a very good friend of mine, and they pour into me so well, which is another thing, y'all. I have been surrounding myself with people that pour into me so well, and I do have one specific friend that pours into me so well, and I'm so appreciative of them and so to them. But yeah, I have just been allowing time for me and me only, and a couple times, couple moments out the week for them as well. But it helps. It helps to truly allow time for you. And like I said, I go on walks and that'll be enough for me, y'all. Just walking around my neighborhood, or I go a couple miles up the road to a nearby park and walk there. Just being at peace at want myself, trying not to think on what I need to do the next day or what I need to do when I get home. Just being present with myself and realizing and listening to my body. Because when you get out and you walk, your body speaks. You'll realize I haven't taken time to listen or look at my body. I see that. my leg is feeling off, my side is paining, my head is pounding. What could be going on? What do I need to do to fix that? What could be off? What needs to be added into me? So that is another thing that I've been doing. Also, going back to being the yes man and being the no woman lately, I have been stepping back from friendships that project negative thoughts. Y'all, we can't help people who don't want to help themselves. That is point blank, period. And, I have always been the friend that doesn't mind being that shoulder or that person that you could come to when things are going bad. But if that seems to be the only time you're coming to me or every time we're around each other and that's the only things that's happening, y'all, that is not helping. That is not very helpful to the next person. There has to be something good going on in life. Like, why is everything so bad? Like, if it gets to that point, y'all, I'm the friend that's like, maybe you should talk to a therapist. And I have always been that friend. If you listen or talk to any of my friends, they'll tell you, Mila has always been that friend. If you are speaking these things to her, she's going to quickly tell you, maybe you should see a therapist because Mila isn't a therapist. Mila can only be so much for you. And that is a listening ear. That is being someone that you can go to when things are going bad. But there comes to a point where you gotta seek help outside of her, and my will tell you quick, here's a therapist I recommend, or take it to God. It's simple as that. I'm always that friend. Or a lot of times I find myself redirected. I redirect the conversation quick. When I feel a conversation is kinda damper in my day or mood. I like to be the positive friend. And if the only thing we're speaking on when we're in each other's presence is negative or downing, I try to redirect. I try to make things more positive. I try to see what's going good in my friend's life. Because, like I said, I'm not a therapist and no one has a perfect week ever. You may feel like some weeks are amazing, but nobody or nothing is perfect. So, of course, there are times where we have to or speak on things that may not always be the best, but we don't always have to do that. That is not helping the situation, y'all. There are times where we do need to speak on something more light, something more fun, something more uplifting. Also, when it comes to work, like I said, I've been feeling burnt out at work, y'all. I try my best to stay present at work. I deal with a lot of different people, places, things, situations, y'all. And staying present helps me because a lot of times I'm presented with situations that I can relate to a lot. And I can sometimes find myself getting into the mindset and thinking back into how I relate to these situations, thinking back on my trauma, my childhood, some of my teenage years, and it can cause me to relive moments and my anxiety can spike. I may get a sudden panic attack, and I have learned that I have to stay present with my clients because I can't be who they need me to be in the moment if I'm thinking about me or what's going on in my life or what happened in my life or what I need to do when I get home, what I need to do when I get back to the office, what I need to do when I leave the office. So I am learning to stay a lot more present at work, being present and truly focusing on what needs to be done or what needs to be spoken on or what I have to do to be a voice, a listener for my clients in the moment has helped me tremendously. And it's still a work in progress. I still find myself kind of lingering or thinking on other things in the moment, but there will be times where, my mind does wander or I think on other things, but for the most part, majority of the time, I try to stay as present as possible. And, with my job, it's kind of hard sometimes working in child welfare. There are so many other things going on in the day. You can't help but to think on 10 different things at one time, but I try my best to focus in on one topic and stick to that in the moment. I try not to work on other things when I know that in the present moment, this client needs me or this situation needs me. I try to put my all into that specific situations and other things can wait. I try to prioritize things that have top priority that needs to be done in the moment and other things can wait. Other clients can wait. I'm trying to learn how to put my emotions behind me in this job. I try to stay present and put my emotions into it, of course, but a lot of times I find myself putting too much in it. So I'm learning to only put as much as that is needed into it. And that is helping me stay present. That is helping me be who I need to be for specific clients in specific times. Also, y'all, top, y'all, pray. Taking time out of my day for God. I take time out of my day daily for God. If not, y'all, I find myself going off the deep end. I have to take, even if it's a couple seconds, I have to pray. I have to ask God to guide me. I have to ask God to help me, protect me, get me through whatever I'm going through, get me through a situation, get me through a moment, get me through the day, y'all. I have to take time out of my day. I pray daily. I find something, y'all, about God and everything, and even if I don't voice it, I think it, y'all, and it helps me get through my day. I won't say my days are perfect from it, but it definitely does help me. I can say from the past, thinking back to when I didn't include God, I would honestly go days sometimes without praying, without not acknowledge God. And from then to now, I can say that there's a huge difference in my mental state and how I balance my days, how I get through my days. So I definitely take time out for God each and every day. So that was a lot, but I just want to end the episode with just some closing encouragement this week, y'all. Just to encourage you that if your body is reminding you of pain, it's not betraying you, it's inviting you to heal. Take some time today, take some time this week to reflect, pause, take a breath, pour into yourself, whether that's just taking your 30 to an hour long lunch and just being by yourself, just sitting in your car, sitting somewhere secluded from everyone, and just being present with yourself. Just eating something that reflects good, that's not bad for your body. Show yourself some self-compassion this week. Stay open-minded. Don't rush your healing. Y'all, we will never have it 100% all the way there. So show yourself some self-compassion, y'all. If you wake up thinking that you're going to have the most perfect day and everything's going to be perfect and you're going to cross all your T's and dot all your I's, you're going to disappoint yourself. You are not going to make it through the day. So just remember that if you're waiting to start something at the perfect time or begin a new journey in your life or give up something or release something, you'll never be ready. We will never, ever, ever be at the point where everything, every condition, every thought, every behavior will be corrected or perfect. If you wait until you have got this together, that together, or your money right, or your mind right, or you're trying to let go of this habit, or you don't want to do this anymore before you start this, you'll never be there. Even once you start something new, y'all, there will still be times where you're confronted with things. A lot of times when we start new things, it's usually when those ideas, those habits usually are tested. We go through a testing period. We are faced with these things a lot more intensely than we are before we start these things are brought to the forefront so that we can heal them, so that we can move past them. We have to fight them. We have to flee from them. We have to move past them. So show yourself some self compassion and know that it is never going to be a perfect time to start or to give up something. So why not start now? Thank you guys so much for listening to this week's episode. I hope that something resonated with you and you can take it with you throughout this week and that you truly do show yourself some self love, self care, some compassion this week. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe. Let me know how y'all feeling. I hope you guys have an amazing week and I will talk to you soon. See you.